You are listening to the Planned Routine podcast, where you will explore all kinds of techniques, different ideas, and personal experiences related to productivity, building habits, learning projects, and so much more. If that sounds interesting to you, then keep listening. And now I leave you with your host, Hussam Malam.
Completely fed up with the lack of my progress regarding my habits and my productivity overall. This is really getting embarrassing, and I feel like I've lost my compass into living a habitual life based on my selection of activities that are scheduled and well planned beforehand. So that's why I'm having this episode that is titled A Point of Reflection, A Point of Correction. So I really find myself very distracted. It feels like I'm actually navigating a maze with a lot of options, right? And every time I try to pick the thing that seems shiny or, trying to call for my attention, it completely kills my energy and it does not allow me to focus on the things that I deem important. Based on that, I was forcing myself to pause for a moment, and I even quit social media for a week because I really wanted to just focus on myself a little bit and see what exactly is going on here. So after doing some reflective work, I found that I need to be implementing new tools and new strategies, at least so I can actually test whether things are going to get better. So one of the things that I think very important that I should be using, which I've tried once or twice, the Cold Turkey software writer, which is a really good tool, I think, because it allows you to do nothing else but writing. Sometimes it's really hard to just sit down and write. I mean, heck, I didn't really write any post for months. So I really care about this project, but at the same time, it feels like I was completely disconnected from it. So I needed something that forces me into this zone. And I use the word forcing because apparently passion is not really enough. So cultivating some discipline when it comes to this project is very important to me. That's why I really think that using this tool every single day will definitely give me help regarding me writing more content. The second thing that I noticed that's actually really affecting my habits is me not being able to reach higher levels of success. I'll be soon posting my entire progress when it comes to my habits in this year and before this year, because I really want to give you the entire picture of how this habit progression is going. But apparently in the last couple of months, I see that the trend is not going upward, it's actually going downward, and it's not really good. So I noticed that the habits that are really like time consuming, learning projects and exercising, are really hard to do at the evening. So if I don't really prioritize them in the early morning, I wouldn't be able to do them. That's what I think. I need to be at least doing 60% or more of these habits in early morning. So I need to be knowing which right order of the habits is very important. And of course, to be able to make the most out of your morning, you should be eliminating any distraction that can be in your way of executing your habits. Another great tool from Cold Turkey company, there is this tool called Micromanager. This is really important to block a certain window. Let's say, for example, you need to be writing a novel and you only have Microsoft Word to do that. You know that you probably, as soon as you start writing, you start switching between different software and you will not be able to finish your task, right? So this software just block that window. You will not be able to quit that window till the timer is off. That's very useful, I think, and you can really be experimental depending on your needs. For me, I really need this software to put some order when it comes to focusing on one task per time. So, moving on to the fourth tool, which is not a software but rather than having a reading strategy. You see, I have had a lot of books I want to read, probably more than 600 books so far in Goodreads. So you would not be able to reach your goals if you have that big list of books, because it can get really overwhelming and confusing to pick the right book in the right time. So for me, knowing my goals for, let's say, the next month, 2, 3, 6 months, this reading should be aligned with what I'm actually trying to achieve. So it's really important to know that one has to ask the right questions when it comes to reading books. For example, when I'm actually trying to read a book, I should ask some questions like, am I reading this book for myself? Or am I reading it for a reading club? If it is for the reading club, this is something that I sign on myself to. So it's okay. But if it's just for myself, it has to be connected to a greater goal. It should not just be for entertainment purposes. Although I love entertainment and everybody does. But if we had a book that is supposed to be read for entertainment, it should not interfere with my most urgent books that are supposed to be read and summarized and, used for a certain end. So, and how do I do that? It's just by asking another question. Is this book relevant to my personal and professional development? If it is neither, then you should know that it is probably not the right time to read this book. Also, I will be trying to simplifying the reason why would I read a book. For example, instead of actually giving a paragraph, which I do, any book I want to read, there is like a paragraph to explain why should I read this book. But I think using certain, like just one word reason is important. For example, I want to read this book because I want to become healthy or wealthy. So in that sense, if you know that certain aspect of your life is lacking, just seeing that word next beside that book, it just helps you to decide, make like a quick decisions. Again, another question which is important, even if this book could be really important and you want to read it, but the timing is important. Is reading this book at this hour or day is important? Or should I be reading something that holds more importance than this one? So I think asking such questions or your own personal questions depends on where are you at life. Everybody is different. So you should come up with, I believe, questions that really are deep when it comes to reading. You should not just be reading, because I know anything that you can be reading is important and it can be useful for the most part. There are bad books out there, let's just be honest. But if there are books that are more important than the other ones, then you should always aim for the most important books, because your time is very short and you should prioritize the right things. The fourth point that I want to speak about is setting a clear boundaries with myself and the people around me. I can't stress this enough, because sometimes I found myself losing the flow of productivity just because I'm hanging out with my friends, right? Because you want to be more sociable. And that's probably a good thing if that's what you're working on. For me personally, at this current phase of my life, I want to build more skills rather than socialization. Socialization with the right people is always a good thing. But at this moment, specifically for me, it's not something that holds like the top of my priorities. My priority is building a habit system, working on my blog, and finding my perfect career, professional career, for me at least. The second thing, I didn't even finish talking about this fifth point. So yes, it's really important that you really talk and communicate with your friends in the most respectful manner. Of course, those are your friends. You cherish the moments you spend with them, and I really appreciate my friends and people that I hang out with. I just feel like I need to do that less. For example, just in the weekends instead of just doing it randomly during the week, because it just makes me not being able to complete my tasks. Another thing that I want to use, it's using my design planner. I've used a lot of planners in the past, and I thought to myself, maybe I should use my own one. So I had to design one for my own needs, which I would share with you guys at some point. Also, I noticed that my lack of progress when it comes to meditation yoga is appalling. You see, these two habits are supposed to be in constant improvement. But what I've noticed is that there is not much of improvement. Actually, if I really go back and look at my habits, let's say meditation, I found myself been meditating for years and there was not tangible good results. Why? Because for some obvious reasons, I don't have a clear map in my head. I do have a book that I'm supposed to be following, but I don't feel very compelled to stick with it and completely start feeling like a master in meditation, you see? So I had to come up with this idea to use learning projects, right, to meditation and yoga. So that's something that I think would really come handy, because now I'm not just investing on the practice on itself. You do also learn about theory alongside the practice, and it's going to be a long-term learning map so that I can have long commitment with not so much of pressure, right? I don't want to do more hours in a short amount of time. It's proven to be really difficult for me, so I just need to master long period with small amount of commitment every single day. Also, when it comes to the 8th point, which is the final one in this episode, since I had a problem with committing to my upgraded memory, the one I started back in February, I think I need to step down a little bit and only commit 2.5 hours a day. I might take longer time, obviously, but that's just okay. I think one needs just to complete those things. One should master smaller amounts of commitments rather than bigger ones, so that one can really be sticking to this timeline or learning project. And to put things in a better perspective, now I want to look at these learning projects that I have in a chronological manner. You see, this time I'm going to use some form of pressure, which is supposed to be motivating, in the sense that by finishing this learning project, I should be doing that, I should be doing the other one. There has to be a clear succession of which one I should be doing. Sometimes I could be doing ones in a parallel, but what matters is that I know exactly that I should be knowing the order of these learning projects and an approximative timeline to finish them all. That should be really helpful to complete my learning projects, the one I'm doing, and being excited to start doing the next. So that's pretty much it. I hope that this episode would it was more like documenting the process that I'm going through again, because I promised in the episode 0 that I would be really honest when it comes to that. So I think I'm going this time really, really big on what I'm doing, and hopefully I can see some improvement, and stay around for more updates. Have a great day.
You have been listening to the Planned Routine podcast. If you liked the episode, please make sure that you subscribe to the show and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget to check out our website, plannedroutine.com. Until the next time, stay healthy and productive.